Welcome to the Queen Creek Cars and Coffee at Rock Point Church in Queen Creek, Arizona, where you'll find track-built cars, impressively built motors, big trucks, little dogs, modded 5.0s, JDM Rose, Volkswagens, and more. Let's go. It was a beautiful day. Last minute decision to grab Will and his daughter Emerson and head out to Rock Point Cars and Coffee. They have legit breakfast and legit coffee. A little bit about this event. It's the second Saturday of each month and it's hosted by RPC Car Care Ministry. Again, it is in Queen Creek, Arizona. One thing I really love about this specific event, although it's only my second time being here, but it's got such a variety of cars. There's a lot of car events you can go to here in Arizona, but you don't really see the type of variety that this specific show offers. We got there a little bit late, but there were hundreds of cars still there, and it's just a little bit of everything. And so this video, we're just going to kind of walk around and point out some of my favorite cars. Man, look at this. I could not get over the size of the tires on the back of this. I really like what they did to this Volkswagen. I like the look of the car, and I love that they take the old cars and they black out all the chrome. It just looks really nice. The reason I took a picture of this Civic because I was waiting for the other two to show up with the spoon motors. Check out this black R34. It doesn't matter that it's not a GTR, it's still a super cool car. And here's Will's Lotus Evora. He's had this thing for a couple of years and he did all this build himself, and he's not even a car builder, but this thing is track ready. Corvette row, as always. Nothing says Corvette owner without a California Duster. But speaking of Corvettes, I just thought I'd take this time to maybe explain the difference, some visual differences between a Z06 and a non-Z06. Are you Corvette experts in the crowd? Feel free to correct me, but the first thing I look for is this on the side. The boomerang, I think is what people call it. It's a Z06 if it has this extra extension that goes on the back underneath the gas cap. You could tell immediately, like, because they all look the same, right? Except for that. A non-Z06 doesn't have the extension. So that's the first thing, whether it's a black car or a different color car. And sometimes people like to wrap those the same color as the car, but you can always tell. All the aero is interchangeable pretty much on these cars. Take a look at these MK4 Supras. Love to see them. It's one of the most popular cars, I would say, from the movie franchise. Originally they drove kind of like a boat, but I love to see them. This late 90s Civic takes me way back to when I first had my Acura Integra GSR and I moved to Michigan. The DOHC VTEC sticker on the side takes me back as well. I actually put that on my Integra. Back then you did whatever you could just to kind of make your car stand out, and it looked great. Taking a look at this JDM Type R, you may be wondering if this is a real Type R or not. I don't honestly know, but I do know they did come in 4 doors. First thing I thought of was the lug pattern 4x100 because the US ones were 5 lugs, but in going back and looking at pictures, the JDM ones were 4 lugs up until a certain year. I really love this last generation of Dodge Viper. It is my second favorite to the 98, 99 GTS. This green color is really cool. I think if I were to get a Viper, I'd probably get a gray or white. But I had Ralph Gil on from Stellantis and we talked about the Vipers because he designed some of these body styles. Looking at this R33, you can't really look at this and not immediately think about Gran Turismo. That's the game that put all these cars on the map for most of us. I always like it when they bring the little model. Use the steering wheel as a hood prop. What's up, Godzilla? Love this Ferrari. I think this is a Ferrari 348 or 355. Tell me in the comments, is this a Ferrari or is this a Lamborghini? A Lamborghini Fiero. You know, you don't see these anymore. And a lot of people made fun of them for a while, but they are the bases of a lot of kit cars. Gotta give it respect. And here's a nice Porsche. You can tell this one was kind of rallied out, which is cool, and it's got that nice old bra. Now, there's really nothing unique about the cars that I've shown you so far. You can see these at just about any Cars and Coffee. But as we continue, oh, it's such a beautiful truck. But as I continue through this video, I'm going to start showing you some of the things that make this meet super unique compared to a lot of the others around here. This is an absolute gangster looking car, and I love the roof. The details in this roof, you could tell it was hand painted. I doubt this was wrapped. Usually when you see stuff like that, it's done by hand, and it's a perfect complement to the type of car, the shape of the car, and the look of that car. Now we get into some things that I really took a special interest in. These trucks. To see the tires underneath the hood like that, pretty amazing. It reminds me of the old Hot Wheels that you would buy, the 1/18 scale, the Hot Wheel muscle machines, I think. But then you start looking underneath the hood and you see all the intricate details and how this thing is put together. Go around in the back. They did everything on this. And obviously it's no longer functional as a pickup truck, but it makes a great thing at Cars and Coffee. Probably featured at the Good Guys car shows. And you have to love this. You have to love what they did to this Chevy truck. This thing caught my eye from across the parking lot. And I don't know if this was a former utility truck. It had to have been, right? This is one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. You can see they found creative ways to put all the components inside the truck, and then they have it filleted open to show the world of how cool of a build this really is. And that's blue collar C10, blue underscore collar underscore C10 if you want to follow them on Instagram. Look at all these stickers. We should hook them up with a hard parking sticker. So many details. Again, we have the tires popping out, although they have the cover here where you can't really see the tire, but that doesn't make it any less of a cool build. This is one of the cool things that you don't typically see at Cars and Coffees. Here's something you might see at a lot of Cars and Coffees, are the GT40 and the Daytona Coupe. I captured these because I don't know if they're real or not, but they are two of my favorite iconic vehicles. I know Factory 5 makes perfect replicas, not saying these are Factory 5, but these Daytona Coupes are actually one of my top 5 favorite dream cars. If I just had a lot of money and a lot of room in my garage, I would totally have one of these. This is unique. This is what happens when you don't finish your build in time, but you still want to go to Cars and Coffee, so you load your motor on the back of your truck. No, all jokes aside, this guy builds these motors, as you can see, and I thought that it was so cool I decided to give him some shine by putting his business card on the video. Walking over, taking a look at this Civic. This belongs to a very good friend of mine, Nikki Robinson. This thing was in SEMA 2024. Beautifully wrapped by Wrap Sesh here in the area, and this is purpose built. She does take this vehicle to the track, and it's one of those things where if you ever see it and you're in Arizona, you need to walk up on it and just take a look. There's so many details in and around this very functional build. Here's a funny little truck. I call it funny. It looks like something I would see in some sort of a parade, but it caught my eye. I'm kind of weird like that. I want one. I don't know what I would do with it. I do know that it's got 2 pistons on the side of it, and it's those little quirky things that usually draw me to builds. This is one of my absolute favorite vehicles here, and I didn't look up what it is, but it kind of looks like a Citroen. Going back and looking at it, maybe it's not a Citroen, but I love this. Match the British term to the American term. Bonnet banger. Bangers and mash. I don't know what a banger is. Maybe it's the dent on the fender. Could be a fender bender, but love it. Everything about this thing is just so cool. All the little details, looking on the inside, and I go, oh, it's a weed truck. I didn't know. Green light. But yeah, it's a weed, a hemp, a marijuana build. But come on. Look at this thing. And then finally, this was my favorite overall thing that I saw at Cars and Coffee. Again, I missed a few cars there, but I talked to the owner. He was out there with his family getting ready to leave. And I asked if this was a Hummer, and he said, well, it's actually a couple truck cabs glued together or welded together. But they drove out there in this, obviously full ride air suspension. Don't mess with people in Arizona. You'll get the pew pew. I asked him about his ride height, and he said it's actually more comfortable middle ride. If it's all the way up, it's not comfortable. Obviously, if it's all the way down, it's an absolute mess. Guys, if you really liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Comment what was your favorite vehicle. And if you know any more information about any vehicle that I featured in this video, comment below. Educate. I'm always down to educate. I don't know it all. I don't know hardly anything, but I know what I like. Make sure you guys check out my podcast called Hard Parking. It comes out every Monday. And I will see you guys on the next video.